If you don't stick out, you're not doing your job, and then it's not worth it. So let's stick out.
Hi, my name is Brooke Hovey, and I'm here today having a conversation with Fede Garcia, who is our Global Chief Creative Officer. Thank you for joining me for conversation.
My pleasure.
I'm going to start with the most basic question, which is the term creativity or creative, because some people will use it to refer to work product or to a characteristic of a person. How do you define the term creative?
I grew up with a very, very specific meaning of the word creative, and I usually make the difference. There's one thing being creative as an adjective and being a creative as a profession or a craft. When it comes to the people that work on my team, I'm very, very specific about it. It's about the people who do the thinking of the ideas, the conceptualizing of the work. And while everybody can do that and ideas can come from anywhere, these are people who are born and raised to do this 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. Like keep thinking one idea after the other one, and as it usually happens, most of your ideas are shit, but you're trained to keep going until you find that little nugget, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again.
And you've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive career in creative.
Thank you.
So I have to ask, what led you to join BCW?
I always kind of keep telling the story. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and when I started in the advertising world, and the lines of demarcation were very, very clear. Advertising stayed on its own lane, PR stayed on its own lane, promos stayed in their own lane, and it was very, very specific. But as the industry kept moving forward, those lanes first kept multiplying infinitely, and then they all start merging and became one big lane. And in these days where the competition for the attention of consumers or of our audience is insane, because basically it happens on the phone, where before that you had to change the channel to avoid. Now it's just an endless swipe of you rejecting communications. You kind of have to create ideas that go beyond just the mere information about a new product or service. They need to be ideas that they capture your heart, and ideas that they become news and they become talked about. And that's what basically PR is.
And in our words, we'd say those are ideas that move people.
Yep.
And that, I think, similarly, we saw the convergence of all of these disciplines, and that's why we've expanded our capabilities. And fundamentally, we still exist to deliver those ideas that move people for our clients, and we do it in a way that we describe as being earned plus, because I think that heritage in conceiving ideas that are meant to earn attention, that are tied to culture, like that should be an advantage for us. So I'm curious, what do you see as great creative today?
For a long, long time, particularly brands, they've been talking about the things they wanted to talk about, their new products, their new services. And to be honest, people don't really care these days. They care about what's happening on their phone. They go into a feed and they just swipe and they look for the things that matters to them. Our job today is to make, for our brands, things that matter to the people. And those are the ideas that escape the norm, that will wow people, that will tap into whatever they're interested in, and they will create a conversation. It's not anymore about what the brand wants to talk about, it's about what people want to talk about.
And I've heard you say that oftentimes that requires a bit of bravery.
Yeah.
And it requires that us and that our clients are maybe a little less risk averse and are more fearless in the ideas that we can consider. So what advice would you have for account teams in helping clients to be braver in pursuit of an idea?
The first thing that I want to acknowledge is that it's really hard. I was talking about these things 5 years ago, and the idea of saying something that might piss anyone off, it would create backlash. Today we're in the middle of cancel culture. It's even worse. It's not just backlash. They just cancel you. Sometimes, especially for marketing executives, flying under the radar is kind of the right thing to do. But flying under the radar doesn't do anything for your brand. So if you want to do anything for your brand, you need to fly over the radar and be ready. There's always people that is going to hate. Haters are everywhere. I would ask our account team to first explain the scenario to our clients and make them understand that backlash is just table stakes. Whatever you do, people are gonna be talking shit about you, but at the same time, some people will come to your aid. I always use this same example. It's a quote from Don Quixote, where Sancho tells Don Quixote, dogs are barking. It's a signal that we're moving forward. And right now, to me, that's exactly what needs to happen. Dogs will bark. It means that you're moving. Now, some dogs will bark because they're scared of you, but some dogs will bark because they're just happy to see you go and they will join you on your crusade. The problem is when dogs don't bark.
Right.
Then might as well be doing nothing.
Right. In this environment where there's so much competition for people's attention, and to really break through, brands have to take chances and really step outside of their comfort zone. So what advice would you give to brand leaders in doing that?
But I would encourage everyone to go back to their young selves and remember why they got into this for the first time. I didn't get into this because I wanted to be a CCO. I got into this because I wanted to do great work. I chose to do this because I was inspired by brave work that I was seeing when I was a kid. And even today, sometimes where I'm in a little bit of a rut, there's always that piece of work that reminds you, this is why I got in.
And when we're all having fun,
Yep.
great things tend to follow.
Yeah, exactly. When I was living in Tokyo, the first thing that they taught me is there was this saying that the nail that sticks out get hammered. I got into this for the exact opposite reasons. The idea was to stick out. If you don't stick out, you're not doing your job, and then it's not worth it. So let's stick out.
It can be scary to stand out right now in the cancel culture that we're living within, and I know that's a real consideration for a lot of brand leaders is, you don't want to go too far that you're at risk. So how do you use good judgment in this world where people can be so quick to judge and cancel?
Make informed decisions, but at the same time, I think you need to stick to your guns. When Nike put Kaepernick on an ad, the first reaction was people were burning shoes, and they stuck with it. And then it turned around and the stock went up like crazy. So I know it's in these days with so many data, so many information, it's hard to stick with your gut, but I still think that could be one of your best allies. If you think that this is good, and if this message is worth saying, and this idea is going to do all those things, even if it's a little bit scary, I would say do it. There's a quote in a book that I love is, do the scary thing now, get scared later.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you
Cool.
so much.
Thank you.